I heard something this morning, that I really needed to hear. And it was actually from my wife. And she told me, Kevin, I love you. And she said that, no matter what you've done or what you decide to do, that'll never change. Which is very, very comforting to know at a time like this. Now you guys, some of you may be aware of previous videos and topics and conversations and the importance of having someone to talk to. And a lot of you have since then taken it upon yourselves to do just that and connect and engage and talk over on Patreon. And a lot of folks are saying that they are in similar situations, and it's very difficult when you have no one to talk to. And the ability to have conversations and go back and forth with us, as truly we are on Patreon, is for some, a breath of fresh air, a lifesaver, depending on your age, depending on your marital or relationship status, whether you've been divorced or considering getting a divorce, or having been in an open relationship, or considering, or maybe even having been outside of a relationship and being the third party, the secret third party, basically. So when I heard what she told me, it was very comforting. I think that's probably the best word that I can use to describe it, comforting. So anyway, I'm not going to go into it on this video. Like I said, past videos, previous conversations about divorce and marriage and relationships and change and openness and faithfulness and infidelity and the religion component, everything. We've been through that, but I'm not going to bore you with that on this video. But I will say that if you need someone to talk to, we're here, okay? We will always be here, God willing. But if you need someone to talk to, we're here. And it's not just about the money and the potential costs associated with what a breakup, specifically a marriage divorce, could cause such financial hardship, especially when you factor in business ownership. It'll be, outside of the attorneys and lawyer fees, it'll take a chunk out, okay? So, but I know a lot of folks have come over to have these talks, to have these discussions, as well as to talk about investing, cryptocurrency, XRP, Bitcoin, building businesses, starting businesses, creating YouTube channels. I think that over the years, we're going to see changes throughout, no matter what. But what I'm noticing is the change in how money is made. And a lot of people will say, well, never start a business, never go into business, never work with your husband or your wife or your spouse or whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, it'll never work out. Well, much like anything, you get out what you put in, okay? And if what you're putting in is, it ain't gonna work, well, odds are you're 100% right. It ain't gonna work. So that's on you. That's your choice, that's your call. But, you know, if you're going into the situation saying it ain't gonna work, odds are you're probably, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. But I brought you guys some information the other day about, you know, the percentage of Americans who have side hustles, the percentage of those Americans who say that they will always need these side hustles. And the reasoning behind the side hustle is not to get rich, it's to get by. Thought Anheuser-Busch was out of business. Or at least they rebranded all their trucks to say Bud Heavy instead of Bud Light. I don't know. There's a homeless camp back there. You guys can't see it. I can see it when I walk by. And Michelle had went to Target last night, and I don't know if it was one of the homeless that lived there, but she said that it was a homeless woman that she had recognized, or at least assumed homeless, not based on appearance, but based on the fact that she was standing on the street corner with a sign begging for money. And she was in Target, she was belligerent, she was quite possibly in an altered state. The situation escalated, yada, yada, yada. 4 of the local sheriff department law enforcement officers escorted her out of the building. So, yeah, that's a thing. But you guys know my position on the homeless and the unhoused and the bums. She would fall into that category. She would fall into the category of a bum. They're not all the same. Hell, I could be homeless at some point, depending on what happens next. You guys know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I could be homeless by choice. And I would choose that for a variety of reasons. I know in the past, you know, I talked about how Michelle and I, we talked about how we could, if we moved, which Florida is fantastic, by the way. And it's even like further solidified that Florida is fantastic, especially, so this car behind me is waiting to get in, but they're going in the wrong direction. It's a one way. Can't you read? Fucking moron. Besides that, but Florida's fantastic. I don't think they're from Florida. Got an out-of-state tag. But the rules of the road still, they're unanimous across the country. But when people come to visit, it's just like, yeah, man, it's like it reignites our excitement because they remind us of all the cool shit that's here, which is why they came to visit. But anyway, we talked about, you know, if we were gonna go somewhere, we'd go to Colorado. We don't know anything about Colorado. We just know that it's pretty and it's beautiful. Mountains, snow-topped mountains. So, obviously, I don't think we would align with Colorado politics. But then I saw this report that it's basically, you know, a lawless state, and it's catering to thieves and vagrants and drug addicts and shoplifters, and they can literally get away with murder, whatever they want. and it's okay. And look, guys, like I said, the way money is made, the way businesses are run is changing. And when you're allowing businesses to be wiped out because you're allowing theft to go unchallenged, like that experience last night at Target, the woman was going to steal the products that she had, and the police were called, and they responded very quickly, very authoritative, very stern, very clear about their demands. And while at the self-checkout, it was made abundantly clear that there was no funds available, and if they weren't there, she was just going to steal these items that she had. I'll let Michelle tell the story because she was there. Go check her out on Squirrel Tribe 2.0, where she'll probably put it up. Squirrel Tribe is her news channel. Squirrel Tribe and her investigative journalism channel. Squirrel Tribe 2.0 is her, personal story channel. And then Squirrel Tribe Life is everything else. The fun that we have together, traveling, vacations, food, leisure. So if you've made it this far in the video and you're saying to yourself, what is he talking about? Folks, we are not getting a divorce. We are not in any sort of trouble. If you want to know more, check out the videos, watch the videos, connect with us on Patreon, get the full story. Don't just assume, don't just jump to conclusions, because odds are what you see, what you think you saw, what you thought you heard, that ain't it. Believe half of what you see, none of what you hear. But if you want to check it out, go check it out over there. And that's the thing. It's like these businesses are getting squeezed, right? So they're going to get innovative in the way that they're going to do business. And I'll show you one of these little charts I got here I was looking at this morning. But that's just it. You have to be willing to adapt and change and innovate in whatever relationship you have. But when it's a business relationship, well, I would expect to see these businesses closing. I would expect to see these stores closing. I would expect to see people losing their jobs. I would expect to see vacancies and vacant properties. I would expect to see further decline and destruction in the neighborhoods that are asking for and promoting decline and destruction. You get out what you put in. And here, where I live in Florida, I can tell you guys right now, this comes from the top, okay? They're gonna get out what they put in, and they're not going to put in trash because they don't want to get out trash. If they want anything, they want to get rid of trash. So we're doing the same, which a lot of folks have been interested in asking about, and having access to these opportunities and digital services and products and features and passive income streams, literally passive income streams. I go to sleep with a balance. I wake up with a larger balance every single day without having to do anything. I take it back. Without having to do anything extra beyond setting it up. And every single day, the chart grows bigger and bigger. And this is what is called scaling. This is going to be a combination of scaling and compound interest. And the sooner you start, the better it is. Remember, folks, it's about time in the market and not timing the market. That is going to be the difference between being poor and being rich. Now, granted, on the surface, just based on the definition of the word, the term, that is going to be, in my opinion, a mindset. Because you can have all the money in the world and still be poor. And you can have very little money and be rich. But for the basic, simple, typical definition, use of the terms, this is where it's at. And it does not include a 9-to-5. It does not include working for someone else. It does not include clocking in and clocking out. It doesn't include any of that. I actually had somebody come to me 2 days ago and they said, hey, they know what I do. They know the work that I am involved with, which is funny because today is Monday. And last night, Sunday, and this morning, my brother says, man, where's everybody at? Saturday, this place was popping. I said, dude, it's Sunday night. Tomorrow's Monday. They got to go to work. He's like, oh, shoot, I forgot. So you can see, ain't nobody here. Everybody got to go to work. So the woman that I was talking to, real nice lady, she knows what I do. And she goes, could you help me start a YouTube channel? I was like, sure. And she was like, my job wants me to make a YouTube channel so that I can, show certain things, this, that, and the other. I said, no, can't do that. And she's like, why? I was like, because your job is not only underpaying you, they're overworking you, but now they're going to try to leverage you to build something for them that they know the true value of. I said, look, I wouldn't do it. I said, I would do it for myself and allow them to watch it. Ain't no way I'm gonna build a YouTube channel for my employer that I have no stake in the company of whatsoever. So she was like, oh, really? Now, this is just typical. Most people, one, have no idea how much this is really worth. And two, get locked into wanting to go above and beyond and please their employer, where the employer is going to make a considerable amount of money, more than they'll ever pay you. Otherwise, they wouldn't employ you. No employer is going to employ an employee that does not produce multiples over 10x over their salary. But if you're going to do something for that employer that's going to put them on another level, pay them in perpetuity, you deserve more than a pat on the back or a gift card to Chili's or Carrabba's or something. Starbucks. I said, look, the only way I would even consider it is if they wanted to continue with your salary and pay you a flat fee of at least 150 grand. That's the only way I would consider it, because I know what it's worth. Now, granted, I think at 150 grand, within 2 years, they're going to break even on that investment. And then every year moving forward, they're going to see that chart climbing. They're going to see that compound interest and that incremental gain, a huge return on their investment, ROI. But, I think in her situation, 150K would be acceptable. It'd be acceptable. But in my opinion, I would utilize the tools and resources that are available to do it myself, where I don't have to invest any money. And at the end of the day, today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, every year beyond that, I just wake up and see my balances continuously increasing. So just putting it out there if anybody is interested and wants to learn and know more about it, because it's one of my passions that I could literally talk about until the cows come home, which interestingly enough is what is happening today, because the family is leaving today, but a friend is coming into town from Pompano Beach, another fellow YouTube content creator, and we are about to go ham for the next few days. So this is going to be a lot of fun. But to each their own. If you want to have access and opportunities above and beyond what you already have available to you, then by all means, click the links down below in the description. Facebook's giving away $725 million just for having an account, as well as you can get $175 a day just for replying to comments on Facebook, and also $40 a tweet posting on Twitter. You know, super simple and easy, active income opportunities. They're not going to be passive, but you could put some extra money in your pocket, as well as Moomoo's giving away free stocks. So if you want your free stocks, click the link down below and get your free stocks with Moomoo. All you gotta do is open an account. And like I said, if you guys want to connect and contact me directly, my info is down there as well. Hit me up when you sign up on Patreon. Send me a direct message. So I had this thing pulled up because I wanted you to see, I want everybody else to see it too, is that the Samsung Galaxy S22 series is waterproof. And it says that the Ultra has a official IP68 rating for dust and water resistance. I beg to differ.
Saltwater resistance is different.
But then it says you can go swimming with your new Galaxy S22 series phone, or even take it underwater up to 1.5 meters deep. But we would advise against submerging it in salt water or ionized water. I would confirm. And then yesterday, we were looking at getting a new phone, so you have one, right? Mm-hmm. And where'd my thing go? Best Buy, AT&T. AT&T said on the phone that they don't sell that model anymore. So then Best Buy, you can't get an S22 Ultra because it says this item is no longer available in new condition, right? So you go to S23, right? Mm-hmm. But the S23, that joker was $1,379.99 if you wanted the S23 Ultra in 512, right? Mm-hmm. Which sucks monkey balls.
Wait, that phone did or the price?
The phone.
I don't see anything wrong with the S23.
Oh, the price.
Oh no, yeah, the price is high.
Yo, but then today you could have got it for $1,154.99, which they probably would have price matched it. But we didn't know that, they were going to start a sale on a Monday because yesterday was Sunday. Mm. So they started the sale and they knocked $225 off the phone. But this, you got to think, people have phones. People have smartphones that got cell phones. They may or may not have insurance on it. And if it runs out and they got to go buy one,
that's what they're going to get hit with.
That's a lot of money, for almost anybody, really.
I mean, we know for most people are going to have trouble with that because just the other day we read that 50% of Americans can't afford an unexpected $500 expense.
Yeah.
So this is well over that.
Yeah. Which, years ago, an expensive phone was like a few hundred. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Nokia 8260s, like when that was expensive. Mm-hmm. And here we are today. And you think 512, okay. I don't need 512. You can get a smaller storage size. It'll still be over $1,000. And then, with the size of the data and everything, you'll eat up that storage quick. Mm-hmm. In a hurry. Did the kid get the room clean?
Yes, she's working on it. She knows that she also needs to vacuum it. So
Well, she better hurry up.
I told her that. I said, you got 10 minutes because we hopefully are leaving on time because I'm hungry and I'm trying not to get to the hangry.
Can you recap that story from Target real quick?
Recap the story from Target real quick. Okay, so lady in Target was kind of sort of yelling to herself, being loud, whatever. And there's the plainclothes loss prevention guy who works at Target who follows around the shady people. And he called the cops on her with the comment of, she's here again, can you please come, blah, blah, blah. And she was basically yelling that she wasn't stealing water. But when she walked past me, I recognized her as one of the homeless ladies that we've heard talking about drugs and stuff before near Starbucks. But she was like crying to herself as she was walking by, and she was like, man, I just want to get out of here. They don't understand, and whatever else. So then she gets up to the register, and as she gets up to the register, the self-checkout, not the one with a manned one, even though there was a person, she could have gone to the manned one. She went to the self-checkout, and as she walks up, a police officer walks up this way. 2 more police officers walk up behind her. She starts rummaging around in her purse like she's looking for money to buy the stuff. Police officer behind her, very nice, started off very nice, very calm. He said, you know, you have time to buy your stuff and then we're going to go outside and talk. And so she's just still standing around not doing anything. And he says, you can either buy your stuff or you can leave your stuff and we can go outside. Either way, we're going to go outside and have a talk. And then it turned into the, you know, you're holding things up for the business, for the other customers behind you. I'm trying to be nice, but soon I'm not going to give you a choice. We're just going to go outside and talk. And so she turned around and started walking outside. And he picked up her stuff and took it to one of the Target employees and handed it over. Then they went outside and started talking to her. But as she was walking out, she immediately just like put her hands behind her back for handcuffs, like she knew the next step.
She's been down this road before.
Yeah, been down this road before. Oh, and she had, it looked like sunscreen, like it looked like lotion or sunscreen. It was all, her entire nose was white.
It looked like those baby
Oh
powders
yes,
that they smack
yeah,
the baby in the butt.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, so it was
all
like
on
that,
her nose.
not like
I
not
thought
that
it was
booger
liquid.
sugar.
I thought it was liquid, but maybe not.
it was some powder.
Yeah.
She was sniffing some stuff.
All right, I like the sneakers.
Don't they look like my whatever they're called?
Your infrared?
Yes.
Air Max 90s?
Yeah. What's even better is they were supposed to be $95, but they were 30% off.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
But why are we wearing hoodies in Florida for summer?
Because it's still cold inside the restaurant.
Because
like this
it's a little soft.
They're blocking the Bud Light truck. I think they're boycotting him. Oh, there's another one in there. So I guess he's going to be pulling it into the rear. I mentioned you in my video this morning when I was walking and talking.
Okay.
What
did you mention?
In the beginning, I was like, you know, you told me that you love me, and whatever I decide to do is going to be, everything's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're talking about what I decided to do with the channel and the content.
Or life himself.
And then later on in the video, I said, if you made it this far, you realize that we're not getting a divorce or anything like that. And I don't think anybody's going to even hear this part of the video.
It happens.
But we'll get more idiots in the comments that literally go off a title and thumbnail and make their own assumptions and judgments.
Mm-hmm. But then we're going to have those people who care and pay attention and are happy about the entire video.
Those are the people that we really want.
Yeah, those sneakers.
Why are there so many Budweiser trucks? Like Anheuser-Busch is going all out.
Yeah.
Trying to ram this down people's throats. Two birds looking a little slammed. Oh, we got one table open outside. Oh yeah? They're the ones with all the crazy edits like every 6 seconds? No? Heads up. Brave. Bravery.
Thank you so much. That was so good. It's different toast, but I like it.
Oh, it's not the same
It's
toast?
not the same toast, but it's perfect.
It's still Texas toast or no?
They used to have a wide one. Oh, this is Ronnie's.
Oh, his is sourdough? I thought, oh,
Thank you so much.
That looks fresh.
Yes, everything.
Elliot, watch your.
Do you want more mimosa?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Will you let me know what kind of champagne it is that you'll use?
Yeah, and it's actually one, we changed it up a little bit. It has organic grapes.
I like the organic grapes. That's nice. Thank you very much.
We used to be able to come to you all the time for good news. Like, you would bring us good news. And the funny thing is, the actual fact of the matter is that my news wasn't really different. It was the same news. I just titled it and thumbnailed it differently. But it was the same topics. I didn't even take a different stance. And it's just like, all right, I changed the way the title and I changed the way the book cover looked, and you thought the book was different.
So it's funny that you're saying that, because this video today is actually about the differences in being rich versus being poor, or at least pursuing riches and trying to distance yourself from being poor today versus how it was yesterday. And yesterday is obviously a metaphor for what yesterday really means. I don't mean Sunday, because today is Monday, but the game has changed. How you go to market, how you make money, how you preserve wealth, how you build your investment strategy, all these are different today. As far as protecting your wealth also. Now granted, we're coming from a lot of different angles here. Construction, sales, IT, business, and real estate, and stockbroker. You know, it's like these are all different walks of life, but I think we all are agreeing on. And in case you guys are wondering, yes, that is Chris Igo. You know, Chris Igo 1, number 1. We are here today in Destin, hanging out at Crab Trap, and we're talking about the differences and, you know, what the future is going to look like for making money. However that may be, good, bad, or indifferent, what does it look like?
Well, obviously you still have traditional ways of generating income, you know, through your 9-to-5 jobs and whatnot. But I think more and more people are starting to realize that one-legged stool that used to support the whole family for 30 years before a pension would take care of you after your working years is no longer a viable source. Personally, that's the way I see it, and I think a lot of people are waking up to that as well.
I think a lot of people are still asleep, and I think a lot of people are confused about what wealth actually means. And so there are a lot of fake rich people out there right now, and a lot of people out there who have been...
term that's tossed around on Saks? They said it. The wealth
effect.
The wealth effect.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. So I think I'm the one who brought it up with him. Well, and the other term that I used when I was doing an interview with him recently, it took me a while to figure out what it was because I had one of those brain farts. At my age, you have them more frequently, unfortunately. Hopefully I don't get it on video. But it's irrational exuberance. So back before the last market crashed, Alan Greenspan was on the record. He's the Fed chairman at the time. And he talked about the market being irrationally exuberant because everything was just ripping. All asset classes were just taking off. Real estate was, they had created such a frenzy in the market by creating products to, you didn't need to be qualified. They were the ninja loans, so no income, no assets, no verification, no credit. You got a heartbeat and say you got a job, great, you're approved for $1 million house. How you're going to pay for it? Well, you don't. In fact, at that time, I was shopping for my first property. I didn't go through with it, but the broker that I met with proceeded to tell me, listen, this is how you get wealthy. You buy a house, you hold on to it for a year, and it will triple in price. And then you take the equity out of the house, and you got that to live on, because you're going to do that again multiple times. So you're going to repeat that pattern. And that's what I was informed. So that nonsense, which first of all, to be totally transparent, is total horseshit. But that's also predicated on the idea that markets only go in one direction. Well, most folks, especially most younger generation folks these days, have only experienced the market going in one direction. So to them, it only goes in one direction. And depending on how long your memory is or how experienced you are, you realize that that is not factually true. And so what are we starting to see right now in terms of moves that the government's making, right? So they're making it easier for you to be able to access your 401k or your pension, right? So they're removing the penalties that were associated with that if you fit a certain criteria. Well, I can promise you, as things get worse, they're going to make it real easy. Hey, look.
Attestation.
If you have a problem and you need to tap into your reserve, go for it. No problem, no penalty. Okay, cool. Well, when you run out of gas in that account, which eventually you will, assuming that you really do have the need, well, it's probably because you got fired or you got a demotion.
Which is pushed by the Fed.
Right, which is exactly what Big Ben...
Jerome Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Jay Powell.
Big Papa Powell. Big Papa Powell has told us he wants to do. He's raising interest rates to increase unemployment numbers. And they're breaking the system. Banks are failing. We've seen a few. That's just the start. There's going to be 10, 20 more. They're going to consolidate it into the top 4 or 5. And
JP Morgan Chase.
JP Morgan. Jamie Dimon is the most corrupt banker on the planet ever. And that's just a fact. And he's in bed with the Treasury and the Fed and with everybody else. And can I prove that? No.
I don't want to be in bed with Janet Yellen. I'm just putting that on the record. I don't want to be in bed with Janet Yellen.
Well, depends on what the interest rate they're paying me is. But what are they doing? Okay, well, they're consolidating the assets into a general ledger, which the government can very easily then monitor, take care of, or manipulate, but really gain control of as soon as we have everything. And this is what I really think is
one system.
happen. Yeah, exactly. And here's why I'm afraid of that. Because, and I know we've talked about this in different pieces before, but right now nobody's afraid. Everybody feels wealthy, right? For the most part. And that's not to say that
the wealthy feel wealthy, the poor feel more poor.
And let me be very clear. There's a lot of folks out there that are struggling. There are a lot of folks out there that are feeling the pain, and that's terrible. It's not like I'm rooting for that to happen or rooting against them or any of those things. That's none of that.
What I described last year, and last year is more of the same. If you were poor last year, you're going to be more poor. If you were rich last year, you're probably going to be more rich.
And what they've done is accentuate the difference between the haves and the have-nots. And so what I think will happen in the future is that when the markets do crash, because they definitively are going to, I just don't know when, but you can't build the system the way we're built with no money in the bank and trillions of dollars of debt. At some point, that system has to fail, period. But when it does, well, they're not going to not capitalize on a good crisis. So when everybody is terrified and panicked, and they get the phone call that, hey, your $4 million account is negative 100, you need to cover the balance or you get nothing, which are calls that I got when I was a stockbroker, when we were engaged in high-risk trading activities with suitable investors that understood what the difference was. We were talking about degenerate gamblers, but I'm not talking about degenerate gamblers. I'm talking about a degenerate gambling treasury, which is now putting us at risk, and they're going to take advantage of the crisis that they created by then incentivizing everybody else. Hey, take the digitalized currency.
CBDC.
Or if people, maybe that's too hot button, so they don't describe it that way. They rebrand it and call it something else.
Inflation reduction.
But well, I don't know what they're going to call it or how they're going to sell it to us, but they're not so much interested in what, I don't believe, they're so much interested in what the digital currency is, or whether you take it or not, whether it's the government Bitcoin or whatever the hell they call it, doesn't matter. If they get us on the same general ledger, because everybody's consolidated in the same bank, because they have given a credit to us, so you talk about stimulus, hey look, go join JP Morgan Chase and we're going to give you a $10,000 credit. Or we're going to give you a reduction in your taxes. Or we're going to dangle a carrot.
Whatever bait.
Or we're going to waive overdrafts, because that's going to be a hot button for a lot of folks.
It's going to be way bigger than overdrafts. It's going to be something that incentivizes everybody who is panicked to take the bait. And as soon as we do that, it's game over for the free United States of America, and welcome to the United States of China, because we now have a social credit score and they can control and dictate however they want you to spend.
Now, I don't want to get too far off here, and I don't want this video to be 6 hours long, but we got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. A lot has already been said on Chris Igo's channel, Chris Igo 1, number 1, youtube.com/@ChrisIgo1. But even more is going to be covered on Patreon. I don't know why you're not there yet already.
Slow down, hold on, take a breath. If I could, I'll make me feel less. Something in my brain causes stress. So come on, make me feel different. You wanna hold, don't hold back. Oh, your little drama's got me mad. And I don't need to tell you facts. You know I always want you back, girl. I could give you a big bad surprise. Let you take your time. Sure you wanna die. Treat me nice and I'll save you a slice. Baby, it's time to slide. Do you wanna try? It's true. It's what we do. Yeah, I know. It's true. It's true. It's what we do. Yeah.
First of all, I got no regrets, but a twisting and turning, got no success. I remember the first time that we two met, the love in the chugging. Can't forget how you held me at my worst.
All right, so we're leaving Crab Trap, and this now at, I don't know, 5:45-ish. Can't really see what time it is. It's a completely different story than what it was when we pulled up here to begin with. Now there's a wait. Now there's a shitload of people standing in line trying to get this delicious food. But nonetheless, we had a great time. Ron back there. We got Chris. I go off. Y'all don't even understand what's coming. And now we're gonna head back and probably jump into the pool and fire up the grill. Y'all better stop playing.
A slice.